The new WTA Top 10 after the Australian Open with big changes for Coco Gauff and Elena Rybakina. The Australian Open has now reached its conclusion, with WTA Tour star Elena Rybakina triumphing in the women's singles. Rybakina defeated Sabalenka in the final of the Australian Open, winning 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 at Rod Laver Arena. She now has 2 Grand Slam titles to her name, with Rybakina having beaten Ons Jabeur in the final of Wimbledon in 2022. Meanwhile, Sabalenka now has a 4-4 record in Grand Slam finals, including 2 successive defeats at the Australian Open. Elena Rybakina and Coco Gauff change rankings after Australian Open. Importantly for the Belarusian, Sabalenka has managed to retain her WTA #1 ranking after her run in Melbourne. Iga Swiatek is also still in second place after losing in the quarterfinals to Rybakina, who has now jumped 2 places to third following her title. Amanda Anisimova has stayed in fourth, but her fellow American Coco Gauff has dropped 2 places to fifth after her quarterfinal exit. Jessica Pegula, Mirra Andreeva and Jasmine Paolini stay in 6th to 8th places respectively, but there are moves for Belinda Bencic and Elena Svitolina. The former has climbed 1 spot to 9th place in the world rankings, with the latter jumping 2 spots to 10th. Madison Keys and Naomi Osaka experience big ranking changes. Significantly, big ranking changes have not only taken place in the top 10 of the WTA Tour after the Australian Open. There are also several key changes in positions 11 to 20, including 2025 champion Madison Keys dropping 6 places to 15th. Ahead of her in 13th and 14th are Victoria Mboko and Naomi Osaka respectively, each climbing 3 places. Former top 10 player Emma Navarro is now down in 17th after falling 2 places, while her fellow American Iva Jovic has climbed 7 places to 20th. And further down the line, Australian Open qualifier Zeynep Sonmez has risen a huge 33 places to 79th after reaching the 3rd round in Melbourne. Trophy rewriting the order. WTA's top 10 after the 2026 Australian Open. The first Grand Slam of the season always brings a seismic shift in the tennis universe, not just in the history books but in the WTA rankings. The 2026 Australian Open, concluded in Melbourne with dramatic matches and surprising narratives, has reshaped the elite of women's tennis. Most notably, Elena Rybakina surged upward with championship glory, while Coco Gauff, after a disappointing quarterfinal exit, slipped down the rankings. What started the year with stability at the top has now become a swirling mix of momentum, disappointment, expectation, and renewed potential. Let's dive into this fascinating new top 10 and unpack what it means, player by player, trend by trend, and story by story. First place medal 1. Aryna Sabalenka, still reigning at the summit. Aryna Sabalenka's position as world #1 appears secure for now. Even though she lost in the Australian Open final to Rybakina, Sabalenka's massive points buffer from past seasons means she retains her top billing on the WTA list. She is still the benchmark of power tennis, relentless, intimidating, and consistently dangerous on all surfaces. Sabalenka's game is built on heavy serves, fierce baseline strikes, and mental toughness. Yet, deferring her Australian Open crown to Rybakina highlights a broader shift in the WTA. The gap between the top players has narrowed. Second place medal 2. Iga Swiatek, the consummate counterbalance. Iga Swiatek remains a constant force as world #2. Her consistency across clay, hard, and grass surfaces ensures she is always within reach of the top position. Though she didn't go deep enough at the Australian Open to challenge Sabalenka's points lead, Swiatek's strategic variety, elite movement, and tactical intelligence keep her in the title conversation week after week. While last season showcased her mastery on clay, she's aiming to balance her excellence on hard courts, a necessary step in her pursuit of reclaiming the #1 spot. Third place medal 3. Elena Rybakina, a meteoric rise to the elite. This is the headline story of the moment. Elena Rybakina's stunning victory at the Australian Open, defeating Sabalenka in a thrilling 3-set final, has catapulted her into the top 3 of the WTA rankings. Her powerful serve, precision from the baseline, and improved mental fortitude were on full display in Melbourne. Rybakina's journey from Wimbledon champion to Australian Open champion signals a new era of versatility. No longer a one-surface specialist, she is proving that her serve-first aggression can dominate on hard courts too. Her rise isn't just numerical. It's psychological. Many critics once doubted her consistency. Now, with a second Grand Slam title, she stands among the game's most feared competitors. Fire the new Rybakina narrative. Resilience after last year's coaching suspension. Technical maturity blending power and control. Adaptability across surfaces. Her ascent has not only shaken the rankings but also expanded the realm of possibility in women's tennis. A fresh title contender who can spoil even the biggest favorites. Tennis 4. Amanda Anisimova, a steady star. Amanda Anisimova continues to prove her talent with consistent results and a place solidly in the top echelons. Though overshadowed by the drama around Rybakina and Gauff, her steady climb reflects a growing tactical sophistication that complements her explosive ground strokes. Anisimova's ascent gives her a legitimate claim as one of the tour's future superstars, capable of deep runs at slams and regular contention at premier events. Chart decreasing 5. Coco Gauff, a setback but not a collapse. Coco Gauff's quarterfinal loss to Elena Svitolina, a shockingly one-sided defeat, reverberated across the tennis world. Once in the hunt for another Grand Slam, Gauff found herself struggling against Svitolina's rhythm, ultimately slipping down the rankings as a result. This drop, from a spot near the very top to a lower ranking than expected, is not just a numbers story. It's a narrative of pressure, expectation, and self-reflection. What happened in Melbourne? Gauff entered the Australian Open as one of the favorites. Her combination of athleticism, court coverage, and mature shot-making has made her one of the most feared competitors. Yet on that day, she simply didn't fire on all cylinders. Her loss raises big questions. Was it fatigue, physical or mental? Is she adjusting her game after rapid evolution over the past seasons? What does this mean for her confidence? Despite the ranking drop, Gauff remains one of the game's brightest talents. Her season is far from over, and history suggests that champions respond to setbacks with renewed purpose. Globe showing Europe-Africa 6. Jessica Pegula, a consistent contender. Jessica Pegula's reliability keeps her comfortably placed in the top 10. Known for her defensive skills, strategic play, and extraordinary fitness, she rarely loses early and has a knack for grinding down top opponents. Her game is a blueprint for consistency, not always the flashiest but always productive. Pegula's presence reminds us, in tennis, steadiness often reigns supreme. Glowing star 7. Mirra Andreeva, youth meets brilliance. Mirra Andreeva continues to turn heads. The teenage sensation's fearless aggression and court savvy, despite her young age, have rewarded her with a permanent place in the top ranks. She represents the new wave of tennis stars, confident, fearless, and technically advanced beyond her years. Her trajectory suggests she won't just be here, she could soon be challenging for championships.